Hi, intrepid viewers. I'm back and I'm back home. So have been on the road and I've been following all your comments. Thank you so much. And there's some good questions in there too. But when I looked at them, most of them, look, there's enough for 16 readings. So what people want to know about was two things mainly. One was that Schumer now has this way of breaking through the filibuster and ducking around having to have 61 votes or whatever it is and a simple majority to move things through, because as we all know, the Senate has become a graveyard for legislation, and it's not, I think, going to play too well in the GOP heartland either, when they keep saying no to things that can create jobs and can keep people healthy. So there's beginning to be a shift. I know it's hard, and a lot of you turn out to be blue dots in a red state. I feel your pain, having grown up in Australia's version of Texas in the 60s. I know what it's like when you're surrounded by people who think differently than you do. Let's just leave it at that, you know. So while Texas is improving, my home state, I wonder about sometimes. I really do. So the main questions that kept coming up were, how's it going to go for Schumer and the Dems generally in getting more things through than they have been able to? So let's have a good look at that. So will the Dems be able to get things through the Senate? Will the Dems be able to get things through the Senate? Well, look here. I've only got a very small space here. You'd think after all these years, my first digression viewers, you think I'd be a bit better with the production values and the lighting and everything. But look, you have my brain, and my brain's really good in some directions, but not the technical. I'm a complete dinosaur, so bear with me. I'm working in this little space. Oh, what do they get at the heart of their reading but the devil? Yes, well. What's happening there? All right. Now, let me pull one more. That's a good one to finish on, I think. Now, in the center, here's the devil card. So most tarot readers, I think I'm safe in saying, don't actually believe there's a horned figure with little hooves that lives underground. It's not that. The devil is the things about ourselves, if it's a personal reading, or about people and society in general, if it's a broader reading, that represent the lowest vibration or the lowest motivations. So the devil can talk about addictions, whether that's alcohol, drugs, sex addictions, or whatever. But also, if you're looking at the 7 deadly sins, greed. Greed is at the center of so much, not only in American life, but modern Western life. So this whole idea that somehow rich people are clever or rich people are hardworking, and all these mythologies around greed. And it's never enough. Mary Trump's book, whatever it was, and Never Enough. You know, I can never remember that title. It's very clever, but doesn't stay in my feeble brain now. So this is what they're working with, right? This is what they're working with. What's over that is the Ace of Pentacles, trying to get through things that will bring money into more poverty-stricken households, trying at the very least to get the infrastructure bills through and those stimulus checks out, as if that was enough. It's so not enough, but that's a question for another day. So it's about being able to do this, and they will have on their side God's hand, you might say. These are aces are gifts, right? And suddenly they've had this breakthrough, right? So you've got this, I think, King of Wands here. Biden turns up as the King of Cups. I mentioned Schumer's name. I'm going to assume it's him. This is him in his role, whatever that role is. I don't really understand. Is he the head of the Democratic Party per se? I don't quite understand the fine print, but this is him going at it and sticking at it and getting what he sets out to do. Over that, we have the overarching energy over this. There's an energy shift. I hope you're feeling it. There is an energy shift. This could be a powerful woman in the singular, or it could be women more generally representing mothers, but also families, and making that connection. The King of Wands is actually now on speaking terms with the Queen of Cups, right? Now, the Queen of Cups is someone who is emotionally mature and understands other people's pain. So it doesn't hurt to have that Queen of Cups energy coming to the fore. Then this reading, will they have more luck going forward? Yes. So this is the Eight of Cups walking away, but I don't think it's the Dems walking away. I think they're in a strong position with these other cards, the King and the Queen guarding the castle, so to speak. I think this is GOP people falling away, lawmakers who are GOP lawmakers who have been uncomfortable with the whole Trump experience starting to peel off again, but also those who even would go, if Trump had got re-elected, would be there going, he's our Yeti, right? I'm a Yeti worshipper. Those ones, even those ones, once these bills start to go through and their people want the bills, they're going to turn away a bit from the hardcore Yeti files. Strategy. This is coming about through hard-won strategy, hard-won legal minds poring over the fine print of the parliamentary office. We have a lot to do with Parliament because in Australia, like Canada, because we modelled ourselves on the English system. You guys didn't, and it shows in many ways. So this is the card of continuing this strategy. This is outcome. More of this will happen. So I take that as a yes. I'm pleased with those. Oh, and the last card I drew, only gorgeous, the Temperance card. Harmony and balance. So although the nation is far from being in harmony and in balance, like couldn't be further, it's the beginning of bringing things to some sort of balance after the madness of the last 4 or 5 years. Bit of balance needed. Okay, so speaking of the Yeti, he's being sued by, as I'm sure you all know, by 2 serving officers on Capitol Hill on the day of January 6th. But more than that, there's going to be more cases flooding in. So this is independent of the racketeering charges in New York. This is him actually being held with his little Yeti hooves to the fire, being responsible for geeing up people, for spreading the misinformation, and importantly, failing to act on the day as the hordes are coming through the doors and people are being threatened. Where's Pence? Where's Pelosi? Don't forget, this is what happens in countries that forget. They have to keep doing it. So please don't forget the hugeness that was January 6th. And now those pigeons are coming home to roost. So, firstly, how will the trial go for these two officers? They're not asking for much money either. I read somewhere 75,000 or something, which is a comparative pittance. Okay, how will the trial go for the two officers? I think Trump failed to act on the day. He had many opportunities to calm them down and didn't take. How will this trial go? I'll just do a four-carder on this. Oh, I think out of 5 cards, 3 are major arcana. They're the big gun cards. They have the strength card on their side, although as individuals, I think they'd be quite rattled and traumatized, and court cases are not fun, even those you win. You know, they're hard work, but they've both got the inner fortitude to hang in there and see it through. The Empress, caring and sharing. So I think this represents people coming on their side. People saw it. I think most women will understand what they saw. I think men, it's different. There's millions of sensible, thinking, caring, responsible men, and there are millions who aren't and will justify what they saw. Oh, well, what do you expect? You know, we're being taken over by these lefties, you know, and next thing you know, I'll have to have a special bathroom, you know, at my place, you know, like. No, I think this is female energy and sensible Americans. What's going to come out is going to be fascinating. Messages about this. We're going to hear yet more that we haven't heard before, because we're going to get the fine print of what happened minute by minute in the course of the trial, who first spoke to the Yeti and said, you've got to do something to calm this down. We'll get McCarthy's call and all of that. And this is going to be quite a revelation. We think we know what happened, but it's actually, I suspect, worse. It's not going to be plain sailing with this case. No, 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 unfortunately. They're going to have to fight off all comers, and you can imagine the money that would be thrown at this. So the Yeti's going to be flat out stealing money from small donors for his own court cases in New York, but he's going to have to defend this. So I think this card represents both sides of the fence. I think it represents the two serving officers of having to defend themselves, but it's the Yeti having to defend himself. And did you see that testimony from the senior police? They have just let rip. Outcome, judgment, big time. Big time. This is why this case is so important, not just for justice for two people, but for all the cases that are coming behind. So it is really important that legally it's watertight, because if this case is lost, then he will have got away with it on whatever level. So this is symbolic. This is a judgment. This is my Wake Up America card, remember, intrepid ones. This is America's moment. This particular case is actually America's moment. So we shall see, shall we not? Now, in the section called Too Much News, Not Enough Gossip, I found out from a viewer that Cuomo was married to a Kennedy. So I think his first wife was Bobby Kennedy's granddaughter or something. You know, we're getting through the generations now. Intrepid viewers who are around my age, which shall remain nameless, at least in this video, will remember the originals. So, you know, here we go. I'm going to have a sip of water, and then I'm just going to have a quick look at whether any Kennedys are going to progress politically in the future. Now, regular Intrepid viewers will be fully aware I don't like dynasties, as you call them. We call them dynasties, but they're the same thing. And that's people who are born to rule other people, who are born to make fortunes off the back of others. Who was it who said originally, behind every great fortune, there's a great crime? Let me know, viewers. It's words to that effect. Behind every great fortune, there's a great crime. Even the shiny Kennedys. But let's have a look. Kennedys in the future. No more dynasties, please. Kennedys in the future. The card of dynasties, how hilarious. Oh dear. Oh well, that's a bit softer. What can you expect? Things change. Okay. The card of intergenerational wealth, power and influence. The Ten of Pentacles. There it is, bang on top. The Kennedys at least are better than, say, the Koch brothers or the Mercer dynasty or the Murdoch dynasty, giving pennies to the poor. So at its most charitable, this is them putting money into foundations and scholarships and decent things. At its worst, it's same old, you know. I think. But the Kennedys are a bit out in the cold. It's almost now, with the hostage card, it's almost a handicap to be a Kennedy. And I would suggest it's a handicap about now to be a Trump. So it's not marvellous. However, the question in the future, yeah, there is a legacy there with the Lovers card. There will be another generation. There's the guy who's floating around at the moment and doesn't do very well, but apparently is a nice guy. I can't remember his name. But the next gen down, there will be yet another Kennedy. And look, if they're a decent person, who am I but a humble card reader from Australia? But can we move on from the dynasties, please? People should be rewarded for their ability and their commitment and their hard work, not because, you know, depending on their actual IQ or anything else, that they get fabulous educations and just given to them. And then they get jobs in daddy's law firm and with friends and all of that. It's been going on now for the best part of 2,000 years. I think it's time to rule a line in the sand and go for quality. And that goes for Hunter Biden as well. This isn't blue versus red. This is across the board. You know, so even though Hunter Biden, I don't think, did any of those corrupt things that they were trying to pin on him, he was catapulted to the head of an international corporation doing huge international deals with gas lines and stuff. What would he know about it? He'd know sweet FA, as we say in Australia and the UK. So I'm going to take off now, but I'll be back before you know it. So keep the comments rolling in. Oh, and the last bit of housekeeping, if you want a reading, email me. Email is under.